It is a Tuesday morning in February 1720, and you are the richest person you have ever met. Your Mississippi Company stock certificates, stacked in your mahogany desk, are worth more than a duke's estate. You own the future, or so you believe. But before the sun sets on Paris, you will watch a fortune evaporate into smoke and paper. Welcome to the Mississippi bubble. You are not just witnessing history, you are about to lose everything in it. But to understand how you got here, we must go back 4 years. It is 1716. You stand in the muddy streets of Paris, and the Kingdom of France is bankrupt. The Sun King, Louis XIV, has died after draining the treasury on wars and the Palace of Versailles. You watch as beggars freeze in alleys and soldiers go unpaid. The coins in your purse feel heavy because there are so few of them. France is suffocating under a mountain of debt. Then he arrives. You first see him at a salon near the Palais Royal, a tall, handsome Scotsman with sharp cheekbones and a gambler's easy smile. His name is John Law. He is a fugitive from English justice, having escaped prison after killing a man in a duel over a woman. He has spent his life in gambling dens across Europe. And yet, when he speaks, you listen. He speaks of money not as gold in a vault, but as trust on paper. You corner him after the lecture. Law leans in close, his eyes bright with conviction. He tells you that gold and silver are chains, heavy, scarce, limiting. What if, he asks, the government itself issued paper notes backed by promise? What if money could be created when the economy needed it, like blood pumping through a body? You feel the thrill of a dangerous idea. It sounds like alchemy. It sounds like freedom. The regent of France, Philippe d'Orléans, is desperate enough to listen. You watch from the gallery as Law presents his plan in the royal chambers. The regent, a man more interested in pleasure than policy, sees a way to erase France's debt without raising taxes. He gives Law permission to establish a bank. You watch the gamble being placed, not with cards, but with a nation's future. In 1716, Law opens the Banque Générale. You are among the first to walk through its doors on the Rue de Richelieu. The building smells of fresh ink and ambition. Law's bank issues paper notes, livres tournois on paper, that can be exchanged for gold at any time. At first, you are skeptical. You clutch your gold coins tightly, but the paper is so convenient, and the bank pays interest. The paper notes catch fire. Within months, you see them changing hands in cafes, markets, and gambling houses. The economy breathes again. But Law is not satisfied with merely fixing France's money. He dreams bigger. He tells you of a vast, fertile territory across the ocean, Louisiana, named for the Sun King, a land of eternal summer, gold rivers, and unlimited wealth. All France needs to do, he says, is claim it. In 1717, Law creates the Mississippi Company. He has convinced the French government to grant his company a complete monopoly on all trade with Louisiana and the entire Mississippi Valley. He has exclusive rights to mining, tobacco, furs, and land. You attend the founding ceremony in a packed hall. Law stands before a giant map of North America, pointing to a territory larger than Europe itself. He promises dividends of 40%. Your heart pounds. The company issues shares. At first, they are priced at 500 livres each, a fortune, but not impossible for a wealthy merchant like you. You hesitate. You have heard the stories of Louisiana, swamps, alligators, starving colonists. But Law produces a letter claiming the rivers run with gold. He produces another saying the native peoples are eager to trade. You reach for your purse. You buy 10 shares. You tell yourself it is an investment in France's future. The shares begin to rise. 550 livres, 600, 700. You check the price boards posted outside Law's offices on the Rue Quincampoix every morning. The street transforms. What was once a quiet lane of goldsmiths becomes the beating heart of a new France. Tents and stalls spring up. Coffee sellers, wine merchants, and scribes crowd the cobblestones. You no longer check the price once a day. You check it every hour. By 1719, the fever has consumed Paris. You see duchesses haggling with street vendors over share prices. You see servants borrowing money from their masters to buy stock. You see bishops and prostitutes standing shoulder to shoulder, staring at the same price board. Law opens new offices to handle the demand. The shares hit 5,000 livres. You have multiplied your money tenfold, but you do not sell. Why would you? The only direction is up. Law is now effectively the King of France. The regent has made him Controller General of Finances. You watch as he moves into the Hôtel de Nevers, a palace that becomes the center of the world. He prints more paper money to fund more share purchases. The banknotes flow like water. He buys the national debt and consolidates it into his company. France, Louisiana, the tax system, the mint, all of it belongs to John Law now. And to you, the shareholder. You attend a subscription opening for new shares in December 1719. The crowd is so thick that you are pressed against strangers, gasping for air. A hunchback makes a fortune renting out his hump as a writing desk. A woman sells her carriage for a single share. You watch a man buy stock with his wife's jewelry. The shares open at 5,000 and close the day above 10,000. You are now worth 20 times what you invested. You have never worked a day for it. But at the peak of the frenzy, you notice something. A whisper in a cafe. A merchant refusing to accept paper notes at full value. A nobleman quietly selling his entire position. You hear that the colony of Louisiana is not a paradise. It is a swamp where colonists die of fever and starvation. The gold is a lie. The wealth is paper. You look at your certificates. For the first time, you feel a cold knot in your stomach. In January 1720, the first crack appears. A prince and two dukes convert their paper fortunes into gold and silver and quietly leave for the countryside. The news spreads. You rush to the bank to withdraw your gold, but the lines are already forming. Law acts fast. He issues an edict. Gold is illegal for transactions over a small amount. You must use paper. The trap closes. You are now holding paper in a paper kingdom. Law tries to hold the line. He fixes the share price at 9,000 livres by royal decree. He declares that the Mississippi Company will always buy back shares at this price. You feel a flicker of relief, but then you realize he's printing money to buy back the shares. The presses run day and night. The paper notes multiply like weeds. You hold a 1,000 livre note, and you know in your bones that it is worth less than yesterday. The dam breaks in May. A rumor sweeps Paris that the Mississippi Company is worthless. You run to Rue Quincampoix, but the crowd is different now. They are not buying, they are selling. The price board shows 9,000, then 8,000, then 6,000. Law's decree is ignored. The mob surges toward the bank. You are swept along, clutching your certificates, your heart hammering against your ribs. You need to get out. Everyone needs to get out. The bank run begins. You stand in a line that wraps around the block, pressing forward inch by inch. When you finally reach the counter, the clerk looks at you with hollow eyes. He has no gold left, only paper. He offers you paper for your paper. You stare at him. Behind you, the crowd grows violent. Someone shouts that Law has betrayed France. You take the paper and run. By autumn, the Mississippi Company shares have fallen to 1,000 livres, then 500, then 200. Your fortune, the fortune that made you richer than a duke, is a smoldering ruin. You pass the Hôtel de Soissons, where Law once held court. The windows are broken. The courtyard is empty. The price boards have been torn down. You walk through streets littered with paper, banknotes, share certificates, promises, blowing in the October wind like dead leaves. The people want blood. You join the angry crowds outside Law's palace. They burn him in effigy, a straw man dressed in his fine clothes. They chant for his execution. The regent, fearing for his own safety, removes Law from office. You watch as Law, the man who was king of paper, slips out of Paris in disguise. He flees to Venice, where he will die in poverty, still gambling, still dreaming. You spit on the ground where he stood. The aftermath is worse than the crash. France is left with a shattered banking system, a worthless currency, and a population that will never trust paper money again. You are ruined. Your neighbor, a marquis who invested his entire estate, shoots himself in his study. A baker who borrowed to buy stock hangs himself in his shop. The economy contracts for years. The word millionaire, coined during the boom, now sounds like a curse, but the damage runs deeper than individual ruin. The French state is discredited. The nobility, already unpopular, is seen as corrupt and foolish. The middle class, people like you, is wiped out. France turns its back on banking innovation for a century. When the revolution comes in 1789, the memory of the Mississippi bubble is still fresh. The people do not want financial reform. They want to tear it all down. The seeds of 1789 were planted in the paper of 1720. You survived to tell the tale. And as you sit in your modest apartment years later, you recognize the pattern. The tulips in Holland, the South Sea bubble in London, the railroad schemes, the dot-com fever, the housing crisis, they all follow the same script. A beautiful story, easy money, the belief that this time is different. Then the silence when the music stops. You fold your worthless certificate and place it in a drawer. A reminder. John Law was not a devil. He was a dreamer who believed his own mathematics. He saw money as an idea, not metal. In some ways, he was centuries ahead of his time. But he forgot the oldest truth of the market, that behind every certificate, behind every note, behind every number on a screen, there is a human heart capable of hope, of greed, of panic, and of ruin. You close the drawer. The fire crackles. And somewhere, in some other time, the bubble is already beginning again.